You're watching RTV6. Now, the news at 11.
Justice has been served for thousands of investors who were swindled out of hundreds of millions of dollars by Indianapolis businessman Timothy Durham and his business partners. Good evening to you. I'm Erica Fly in for Todd.
And I'm Jenna Coy. The jury in the Timothy Durham trial had everything handed over to them this morning, and by 6 o'clock they had reached their verdicts. Here's a breakdown. Timothy Durham was found guilty on all 12 counts against him. James Cochran was found guilty on 8 of the counts against him, and Rick Snow was found guilty on 5 of the counts against him.
Our TV6 reporter Rafael Sanchez has been following this trial from the beginning and was there when the verdicts were read. Rafael?
Erica, good evening. The 3 men, including Timothy Durham, went from shirts and ties at the federal courthouse to orange jumpsuits here at the Marion County Jail, where they'll spend the next few nights and days. Federal prosecutors argued that Durham, James Cochran, and Rick Snow are flight risks because in the government's opinion, the men are facing decades in prison and could have access to money to flee the country. Durham's attorney tells me that Durham had already surrendered his passport and is on electronic monitoring. Now, this was Durham entering the courtroom with his son tonight as they prepared to hear the verdicts. And speaking to, again, Durham's attorney, John Tompkins, he tells me that the family is upset and shocked with the jury's decision. The 3 men will be in the county jail until Monday morning when there's a hearing at 10 o'clock at the federal courthouse. At that hearing, it will be determined whether the men will stay here at the county jail, go to a halfway house, or go home until they are sentenced. Here's what the U.S. attorney told me tonight.
To the extent that there was arrogance involved, I have no doubt. The plain fact is, though, that as a result of the jury's verdict today, these 3 individuals will likely spend the rest of their lives in jail.
And back live here at the county courthouse, the men are being kept with other prisoners under federal control. I'm told they're not with the general population per se. Based on the guilty verdicts, Mr. Durham alone could face 225 years in prison.
Rafael, what can you tell us about appeals?
They are already talking about appeals. Of course, their first order of business is that detention hearing now scheduled for Monday at 10 a.m. at the federal courthouse just a couple of blocks away. But I spoke tonight to the attorney of the former chief financial officer of Fair Finance, Rick Snow, who was found guilty on 5 counts. This is what his attorney told me tonight. We're looking at a possible appeal down the road on this case.
I would say that's definitely going to happen.
Any regrets of not putting Mr. Snow on the stand to allow him to tell his story? I know being the Monday morning quarterback is always an easy thing to ask, but any regrets on that, sir?
There's always regrets in a trial you lose, so I don't know if it's that or other, but yes.
And none of the men in the trial took the stand to defend their positions before the jury in the 7-day trial. Durham's attorney is also talking about a possible appeal because Durham's family wants to look forward. We should hear more from Durham's attorney, Erica, tomorrow morning.
All right, Rafael Sanchez joining us live outside the Marion County Jail. Thank you, Rafael. And tonight we are getting reaction from the victims of this financial scheme. We spoke by phone with Jim Ernie, who lost $100,000 to the fraud.
I personally was one who got hurt by their actions, and there were many other people who got hurt also. But I'm very happy that they got what was coming to them.
More than 5,200 investors say they are owed more than $215 million.
And taking a look back on how Durham and his business partners reached this point, the FBI raided Fair Finance and Durham's Indianapolis offices in November of 2009. Months later, investors forced the company into bankruptcy, trying to recover some money. Between October of 2010 and February of 2011, Durham sold $3 million worth of belongings to help pay debts. And in February of 2011, the bankruptcy trustee filed suit against more Durham businesses. And a few days later, Durham and his 2 business partners were arrested. Then the trial against the 3 businessmen began this month. And keep up to date on breaking news like the Durham verdict on your phone or iPad. Download the brand new RTV6 News app, which includes breaking news alerts. Just go to the iTunes App Store or to your Google Play account.